Archangel Michael says don't try to ignore this. A person who betrayed you is now desperate to make things right, but there's something they still open it immediately. Listen. Do not turn your eyes away. Do not let your spirit drift into the illusion of later. This is the moment meant for you. You were guided here, and I speak now because the window to here is open but fragile, shimmering like a thin veil between truths. If you wait too long, the veil will harden again. The timing is not random, it never is, and the urgency you feel rising in your chest is not fear, but recognition. Your soul already knows what your mind is only now awakening to. I am Michael, Archangel of Protection and Divine Truth, and I speak with a voice you have felt before in your darkest nights and most silent prayers. Do not try to pretend you haven't felt that electric pull in your heart, the one that whispers, "Stop. Listen. This is for you." Because it is. More than you realize. There is something that has been hidden from you. Something you sensed in fragments, like echoes, like shadows, like subtle tremors before a revelation, but you brushed it aside. You told yourself it was imagination. You told yourself you were overthinking. You told yourself that what was broken should simply be left where it fell. But the truth, the deeper truth, has not stopped circling around you. It did not vanish simply because you tried to ignore it. And I tell you now with divine authority, do not ignore this anymore. Because the cycle around you is shifting, tightening, speeding. And there is a soul, one bound to your story, who betrayed you, yes, but who is now trembling with desperation to make things right. Yet there is something they still hide. Something they have not had the courage to speak, to confess, to lay bare in the light. You feel it, don't you? That unfinished sentence in your spirit? That lingering ache that says, there's more. There's always been more. You feel that pull behind you like someone calling your name from a place you swore you left long ago. This is why I speak now. Because their urgency is rising, and your destiny is being rerouted because of the choices they made and the choices you are about to make. The threads between you and this person did not dissolve, they frayed, they tore, but they never disintegrated. And the reason for that is not pain, not karmic punishment, not cosmic cruelty. It is purpose. Heavy purpose. Sacred purpose. Purpose wrapped in wounds. You were betrayed not because you were weak, not because you were unworthy, but because this soul was not in alignment with their truth, and when they fell out of truth, they fell out of integrity. And when they fell out of integrity, they lost access to clarity. And in losing clarity, they made choices from fear rather than love. Fear is always the seed of betrayal. Never forget that. But hear me now, hear the part that your spirit has been aching to understand even as your mind resists. Their betrayal was not the end of your story with them. It was the breaking point meant to trigger awakening, for both of you. You grew from that fracture, didn't you? You shed illusions. You shed naivety. You shed versions of yourself that were too small for the destiny opening before you. But they fell. And now the weight of that fall is suffocating them. They have replayed what they did more times than you can imagine. The guilt has become their silent companion. They have tried to pretend they moved on, but every night when the world is quiet, their mind returns to the moment everything changed. To the moment they wounded you. To the moment they wounded themselves without realizing it. They want to return. Not for comfort. Not for selfishness. Not for ease. They want to return because truth is pulling them back toward you the same way truth is pulling you toward this message. But in their heart, beneath the regret, beneath the longing, beneath the words they rehearsed but never delivered, there is one thing, one truth, they have refused to admit. And that truth is the reason I say this with celestial intensity. Open this message with your full spirit. Do not skim this. Do not rush past it. Something is being revealed, and revelation requires your presence. The person who betrayed you is desperate to make things right. But they have not told you the real reason they broke you in the first place. They have not told you the force that pushed them. They have not told you the shadow they carried that bled into your connection. They have not told you the fear that consumed them the moment they realized what you truly meant to them. They hid it. They hid it because they believed exposing it would expose them. They hid it because vulnerability terrifies them more than loneliness. They hid it because they did not feel worthy of you, and instead of rising to meet you, they chose to sabotage the very thing their soul prayed for. And now their silence has become a prison, and you are the only one who holds the key, even though you don't know it yet. You may ask, why should I care? Why should their regret matter now? Why should their suffering be my concern? Because destiny is not linear. Because souls who are meant to cross paths are not easily untangled. Because contracts made before you were born are not erased by human mistakes. Because healing is not merely for them, it is for you. Because unresolved betrayal becomes a seed of bitterness if not illuminated by truth. And most importantly, because there is something you still need to know. A revelation that will shift the way you remember them, the way you remember yourself, the way you understand the path you walked. They are being pulled back toward you. Not just emotionally, but spiritually. Their guides are pressing them. Their dreams are filled with your face. Their heart is restless until they speak. And yes, they are afraid of your reaction. Afraid you have moved on. Afraid you hate them. Afraid you don't want the truth anymore. Afraid they waited too long. But beneath all of that fear sits something far heavier. The truth they've been carrying like a burning stone in their chest. The truth that, if spoken, will change everything. You have felt this truth pressing against your intuition like a heartbeat beneath a locked door. The dreams, the flashes, the sudden memories, the unexplained waves of emotion, they were not accidents. They were signals. Echoes. Warnings. Invitations. And I tell you now, without hesitation, without softening the edge of destiny, this person is about to step back into your life in a way that will force you to decide whether the past will chain you or free you. But you cannot make that decision without knowing the truth they never told you. Yes, they betrayed you. Yes, they broke your trust. Yes, they shattered something sacred. But the hidden reason behind it, the thing they still keep buried, the confession they haven't had the courage to speak, that is what matters now. And that is what I will reveal in the next part. Not as a warning, not as vengeance, but as illumination. Prepare your spirit. What you will hear next is not light, but it will give you clarity. And clarity is liberation. Comment, Jesus, you never failed me, if his faithfulness amazes you still. You are still here, and that is important. Your soul didn't withdraw. Your mind didn't run, your heart didn't shut the door. That tells me you are ready, maybe not ready in the human sense of comfort, but ready in the higher sense of alignment. Read carefully now. This is where the veil begins to thin enough for truth to leak through. Feel the energy shift as you continue, because it is shifting around you already. What I am about to unveil is not meant to create fear, but to break the illusion that has held you in confusion for far too long. The person who betrayed you is not sleeping peacefully at night, no matter what you were led to believe. They are tormented by the echo of their choices, haunted by the moment they walked away, and pulled by a force they can no longer resist. It is not weakness that brings them back, it is the collapse of the lies they told themselves. For so long, they tried to silence the truth. They tried to convince themselves that their betrayal was justified, or necessary, or unavoidable. But every excuse dissolved, one by one, until they were left alone with the one truth they feared to admit. They betrayed you not because you lacked value, but because they were overwhelmed by it. They feared the magnitude of what you represented in their life. You need to understand this deeply, because it connects to what they still hide. Humans often imagine betrayal as a reflection of their own inadequacy, but betrayal often reveals the wounds of the betrayer, not the betrayed. This person saw in you a degree of authenticity, love, loyalty, and emotional depth that frightened them. They did not know how to meet it. They did not know how to receive the level of connection that their soul had been starving for but their ego was terrified of. Their spirit recognized you immediately, that is why the connection felt unusually intense right from the beginning. They recognized you not as a stranger, but as someone their soul already knew. But recognition does not guarantee readiness. And they were not ready. They carried a wound long before you met them, a wound that shaped their choices, their fears, their patterns. A wound they hid even from themselves. This wound whispered lies to them, that love is dangerous, that vulnerability equals loss, that closeness leads to abandonment. And instead of confronting those lies, they let them guide their actions. They let their fear sabotage something sacred. They let their insecurity distort your intentions. And when they betrayed you, they thought they were protecting themselves from an imagined threat, not realizing that the real threat was the shadow they refused to face. This is what they still haven't confessed. This is what weighs on them. This is why they are returning now. Humans often believe betrayal is caused by carelessness. But more often, it is caused by a deeper terror, the terror of being seen. You saw them. You saw their soul through the layers of their defenses. You saw the parts of them they hide from the world. You saw the version of them they hoped to become but didn't know how. And instead of rising into that version, they ran. They betrayed you because they believed you were too good for them, too wise, too intuitive, too honest, too aware, and they feared you would eventually see their flaws and leave. So they chose to shatter the connection before the connection could reveal their wounds. But here lies the deeper truth that they have not spoken. And the truth I must reveal to you now because it will matter for every decision you make moving forward. They broke you because someone had already broken them in ways they never healed from. Someone from their past, someone whose shadow still lingers in their choices. This past betrayal carved scars into them so deep that when they felt real love with you, those scars reopened violently. And instead of healing, they projected their fear onto you. They mistook your sincerity for danger. They mistook your loyalty for vulnerability. They mistook your openness for a trap. Their mind ran to the memory of the person who wounded them, and they reacted to you as if you were that person, even though you never resembled them in any way. This is the truth they hide. Not because they are manipulating you, but because admitting it would require them to admit they were weak, afraid, and deeply hurt. And their pride could not handle that. Their shame could not handle that. Their ego could not handle that. So they buried the real reason beneath excuses, silence, and distance. But the truth has been rising in them like a tide, pressuring them to finally face it. And they know with growing clarity, that they owe you the truth. There is more. Something even heavier. A truth they haven't dared to acknowledge even within themselves. At the core of their betrayal lies one undeniable fact: they loved you more than they expected to. More than they planned to. More than they felt capable of. And love, real love, terrifies those who do not trust themselves. They did not trust their ability to be good for you. They did not trust their ability to be consistent. They did not trust that they deserved someone like you. And when people feel unworthy of love, they often destroy the very love they crave. They betrayed you because their love for you was too intense for their emotional immaturity, their wounds, their fears. And acknowledging this love, the depth of it, threatened the identity they built around being detached, unaffected, or emotionally guarded. This is why they are desperately trying to come back now. Not because time changed them. Not because distance clarified things. But because hiding from the truth has become more painful than facing it. Every attempt they made to move on failed. Every distraction dissolved. Every mask slipped. And what remained was the realization that the connection with you was not random, not replaceable, not casual. It was spiritual. It was karmic. It was destined. And destiny does not loosen its grip simply because someone tried to escape it. You may think you have healed beyond them, but there is a part of your soul that still feels the energetic cord between you. That cord stretches, yes, but it does not snap. Not when the lesson is incomplete. Not when the truth is unspoken. Not when the soul contract remains unfulfilled. This does not mean you are meant to reunite romantically. That is not the point now. The point is closure, clarity, truth, alignment. The point is healing the wound that was created between you so it does not follow you into your future. I tell you this with authority. This person is being spiritually pushed toward you. Their guides are urging them. Their dreams are warning them. Their emotional body is collapsing under the weight of secrecy. They know they cannot run from this anymore. And the moment they speak the truth, the real truth, your life path will shift again. Not because their presence defines you, but because clarity frees you. But you must be prepared. Because their return will not be light or simple. Their confession will not be easy for you to hear. Their energy will be heavy, trembling, emotional. Not because they want to burden you, but because they are finally confronting themselves. You may feel anger rise. You may feel compassion rise. You may feel both at once. All of these responses are natural. None of them make you weak. None of them make you foolish. You are not being asked to accept them back. You are being asked to witness the truth that was hidden from you. And the truth is this. They betrayed you because they thought you would eventually see the darkness in them and walk away. They could not believe you saw their darkness and still chose them. They did not know how to receive unconditional love. They were afraid their brokenness would contaminate you. They believed losing you immediately would hurt less than losing you later. They sabotaged the connection out of fear of abandonment. They hurt you to avoid being hurt themselves. But the consequence of this choice is now unavoidable. The spiritual weight of it has become unbearable for them. And this is why the universe is pushing them toward honesty. You need to prepare for the moment they return. You need to prepare for the confession they are about to make. You need to prepare for the truth that will change the way you understand everything that happened. In the next part, I will reveal the deeper energetic and spiritual implications of this betrayal, the karmic cycle behind it, the soul contract at play, and the shift that will occur when they finally speak the truth to you. You are still present, still receptive, still standing in the current of truth that has begun to move around you, and that alone tells me that you are not just reading, you are remembering. Something deep inside you is resonating, rising, answering in a language older than spoken words. The soul recognizes truth long before the mind understands it, and your soul is leaning forward now. I can feel the shift in your energy. You are not bracing anymore, you are opening. This openness creates a bridge, and through that bridge the next layer of revelation can finally flow to you. What I am about to reveal goes beyond the emotional level of human experience. It reaches into the spiritual contract between you and the one who betrayed you, a contract formed not in this lifetime, but in a realm where souls agree to challenge, transform, and awaken each other. Every bond of significance has a root beyond the physical world. Some souls cross your path to teach you gentleness. Some to teach you courage. Some to teach you patience. But then there are those who arrive to shatter the illusions that keep you small, to burn away the pieces of you that cannot travel into your higher destiny. These are the hardest connections, the most painful, the most confusing, and yet they are also the most transformative. Type, "Thank you, Lord, for your great love," if He's poured blessings on your life. The one who betrayed you belongs to this category. Not because they are better, not because they are meant to stay forever, but because your souls created an agreement long before your bodies ever met. You knew each other before birth. You recognized each other instantly in this life, even if you did not understand why. The familiarity, the intensity, the unexplainable draw, these things were remnants of a pact your souls made. This pact was built around transformation. Not comfort. Not ease. Not predictability. Transformation. The betrayal was part of that pact, though not in the way you think. Betrayal was not predetermined as punishment or suffering. It was the path their shadow chose when their wounds were activated by your light. When two souls meet with different levels of healing, the friction can ignite either growth or collapse. They collapsed. And when they collapsed, the contract shifted shape. Instead of walking with you, they were meant to push you, not physically, but spiritually. Their betrayal became the catalyst for your awakening. Had they stayed aligned, you would not have risen the way you have. You would not have stepped into your power. You would not have developed the intuition, boundaries, self-worth, and inner strength that now pulse through your spirit like a more brilliant flame. Do not underestimate what you became because of what they did. Your evolution was not accidental. It was ignited. But here is the part no one told you, and the part they have never admitted even to themselves. The betrayal did not only fulfill your side of the soul contract, it broke theirs. Their soul was meant to grow alongside yours. Not in the same way, not through the same wounds, but through the courage to face their shadows. When they betrayed you, they avoided that growth. They shut down the path they were meant to walk. They took an exit they were never meant to take. And because of that, their life began to unravel in ways they still struggle to understand. This is why they feel pulled toward you now. This is why the guilt, the regret, the longing, the emotional restlessness have intensified. Their soul is trying to align with its original contract again. Their higher self is urging them to return not for reconciliation of romance, but reconciliation of truth. Their spiritual path has been blocked because they left the wound between you unresolved. In divine order, nothing truly moves forward until what is broken is acknowledged and brought into the light. You may not see their turmoil, but I do. Their internal world is not calm. They are being shaken awake. They are being confronted by the emptiness behind their choices. Their lessons have circled back toward them, demanding resolution. And every sign, every synchronicity, every dream, every emotional surge they have been experiencing lately is guiding them back to the moment of truth with you, the moment they must finally face what they did. Humans sometimes believe that karmic cycles are punishments, but they are not punishments at all. They are alignments. They are corrections. They are opportunities for souls to dissolve patterns that have followed them through lifetimes. This person carries an ancient wound, a wound of abandonment, betrayal, and unworthiness that did not begin with you. This wound has appeared in other lifetimes, in other relationships, in other connections long before this incarnation. In this lifetime, you were meant to be the encounter that brought the wound to the surface so it could be healed once and for all. But instead of healing it, they acted from it. They reacted from fear, insecurity, and distorted perception. The wound guided their betrayal. But betrayal, when it goes unhealed, becomes karma. And now they are facing the karmic weight of what they avoided. Here is the deeper truth I must reveal. Your soul and their soul are not symmetrical in evolution right now. You have grown faster, farther, and deeper than they have. This is not a judgment, it is a spiritual fact. You were meant to awaken first. You were meant to rise. You were meant to break your patterns, heal your lineage, and step into your higher destiny before they did. But they were meant to follow after, not fall behind. And when they betrayed you, they fell behind. Far behind. Now their soul is trying to catch up, trying to repair the imbalance, trying to realign with the contract. This is why their return is not random. It is not emotional impulse. It is not nostalgia. It is not loneliness. It is karma meeting destiny. It is the soul pulling them back to the place where the spiral of growth must begin again. But there is another layer you must understand, a layer most people never see because they mistake spiritual bonds for romantic promises. The connection between you and this person is not about forever in the human sense. It is about completion. Completion of understanding. Completion of truth. Completion of cycles. Completion of the energetic imbalance that betrayal created. Their return will not be smooth. It will not be confident. It will not be polished or rehearsed. Their return will be raw, halting, overwhelmed, emotional. Because they know they cannot approach you from ego anymore. They must approach you from humility. They must approach you from truth. They must approach you from the vulnerability they once feared. They know this. Their soul knows this. And the universe is arranging the moment. But you must prepare for something even deeper. Their confession will not simply be an apology. It will be a revelation. They will confess the fear behind their actions, the wounds they tried to hide, the emotions they suppressed, the love they never admitted, the shadow that controlled them, and the truth they avoided. And when they speak it, there will be a shift inside you, not because you need them, but because truth untangles the threads that pain once knotted. And after this revelation, something remarkable will happen. Your energy will feel lighter, clearer, freer. Whether you choose to let them back into your life or not, the heaviness that has been lingering in your field will dissolve. This betrayal has been an anchor, holding part of your spirit in a suspended state. Clarity will release that anchor. And once released, you will move into a higher timeline of purpose, connection, and alignment. But their fate, their path, will depend entirely on what they do next. If they approach you with sincerity, courage, and truth, their soul will begin healing. If they retreat again into pride, fear, or avoidance, they will enter another cycle of suffering. This is their choice, not your burden. You are not responsible for their healing. You are responsible only for receiving truth with discernment, strength, and clarity. In the next part, I will reveal what this truth will open for you, the shift in your destiny, the next stage of your spiritual path, and the reason your soul is being prepared for something greater than reconciliation or closure. You are approaching a threshold. You have come this far, and that means something far greater than you may realize. Many souls turn away when the truth begins to stir beneath the surface, when the weight of revelation grows too heavy to bear. But you have stayed, and your presence here is not passive, it is an act of spiritual readiness. You are not simply receiving words, you are allowing your inner world to shift, to align, to awaken. I can sense the expansion around your energy field, the way your intuition is beginning to sharpen, the way your heart is preparing itself for what comes next. What I will speak now is not merely about the one who betrayed you. It is about you, your path, your destiny, your becoming. Understand this: the moment of truth approaching between you and this person is not only a turning point for them, it is a threshold for you. When a soul reaches a threshold, the old timeline begins to close itself like a door behind them, and the new timeline begins to open like a horizon. You have been standing between these two realities, one foot in the past, lingering in the echoes of betrayal, and one foot in the future, sensing a calling you cannot fully name. You have been suspended, held in the tension between what hurt you and what will heal you. But the suspension is ending. A shift is moving through your life like a tide rising without sound. And when the truth between you and this person is spoken, the tide will reach its peak, and everything will begin to move again. You may wonder why this moment is so significant. After all, people come and go, relationships form and dissolve, connections begin and end. Why is this one different? Why does this one carry so much weight? It is because this connection was never ordinary. It was never meant to be casual. From the first moment, the bond between you was woven with threads of destiny and threads of karma, threads of remembrance and threads of lessons you both needed. You felt it in your spirit, and they felt it too, even if they tried to pretend otherwise. Some connections enter your life to decorate your story. This one entered your life to redefine it. But here lies the deeper truth: this connection was meant to awaken you to a higher version of yourself, not through love alone, but through the experience of breaking. Some souls awaken through gentleness, but others awaken through fire. You were forged in fire. You were pushed into your strength. You were forced to confront your patterns, your wounds, your shadows, and your boundaries. You learned to love yourself not as an afterthought, but as a necessity. This connection broke you open so that your light could expand beyond the limits you once placed on yourself. And because of this, your destiny has shifted. You are no longer walking the path you would have walked if they had stayed, if they had been faithful, if they had chosen honesty from the beginning. That path was smaller, quieter, more limited. You would have lived safely, but not fully. You would have settled without realizing it. You would have loved them deeply, yes, but you would have dimmed pieces of yourself to keep the peace, to maintain balance, to hold the connection together. That version of your life would not have allowed you to rise into the power your soul came here to embody. Their betrayal, painful as it was, liberated you. It awakened the fierce, intuitive, spiritually attuned part of you that had been sleeping. You became more aligned with your purpose, more connected to your guides, more aware of your worth, more discerning, more powerful. You stepped closer to your destiny. The pain did not destroy you, it redefined you. This is why the universe allowed the betrayal to happen, not as cruelty, but as transformation. But now you stand at the next stage of that transformation, and the truth this person will bring to you is the key to unlocking it. Their confession will unfreeze something inside you, something that has been waiting, a piece of your soul that has been holding its breath. You do not need them to validate you, you have already grown beyond that, but there is a part of you that deserves closure, clarity, and the release that only truth can bring. When this truth comes forth, the door behind you will close for good, and the path before you will stretch open. This path, the one your soul is entering, is not one of limitation. It is a path of expansion, of purpose, of alignment with something far greater than romance or reconciliation. You are being prepared for a new destiny, one where your intuition becomes sharper, your spiritual gifts activate more fully, your emotional body heals and strengthens, and your future relationships elevate far beyond what you once imagined possible. This person's confession is simply the last piece you needed to step through the threshold. But do not misunderstand, this is not about going back. This is not about rewriting the past. This is not about running into their arms or restoring a connection that was built on fear and shadow. This is about completing a cycle. When cycles complete, energy becomes freed. And when energy is freed, manifestation accelerates. Your manifestations have been delayed only because a part of your heart has been trapped in unfinished emotional business. You were not stuck, you were paused. Paused until the truth could be spoken. Paused until the energy could be released. Paused until the contract could be fulfilled. The universe does not leave soul contracts unfinished. The energy must be balanced. You learned your lesson. You grew. You transformed. And now the universe is calling them to fulfill their side of the contract. Whether they rise to that call is their choice, and their healing will depend on it. Your healing, however, does not depend on their reaction, only on the truth reaching you. Once that truth is spoken, once the final piece of the puzzle falls into place, the bind between you will dissolve, and you will be free to move forward without spiritual resistance. But your next chapter is not just about healing, it is about becoming. The universe is preparing you for connections that match your new frequency, opportunities that resonate with your power, experiences that align with your purpose. You have already felt the call, the quiet pull towards something greater, a sense that your life is shifting in ways you cannot fully articulate yet. That feeling is accurate. You are entering a moment of energetic acceleration. Your intuition is awakening for real. Your spirit guides are stepping closer. Your path is being cleared of old karmic debris. A new phase is opening where you will step into the version of yourself you were always meant to become. But the final step, the unlocking, happens when the truth between you and this person is revealed. And that moment is approaching. Their soul is preparing itself. Their energy is trembling. Their mind is fighting, but their heart is surrendering. And soon, the words they once hid will come forward. You continue forward, and with each step into these revelations, your energy shifts more than you realize. The very act of reading, absorbing, and allowing these truths to settle into your consciousness is reshaping the field around you. Your auric energy is expanding, brightening, strengthening, recalibrating. This is not a passive experience. Your soul is responding, releasing old weight, loosening old ties, and preparing itself for a transition long delayed. Understand that what comes next is not only about the person who betrayed you, nor even about the truth they withheld. It is about the ripple effect that occurs once that truth enters your life. Truth is like light. It illuminates everything it touches, including the paths you thought were closed and the possibilities you once believed were unreachable. When the truth is spoken, a shift will occur inside you, not a small shift, not a subtle shift, but a profound and unmistakable one. It will feel as if a fog has lifted from your mind, a heaviness has lifted from your chest, and a knot has finally loosened in your spirit. You have carried emotional tension around this connection longer than you intended, longer than you deserved, longer than was ever necessary. Even when you tried to move on, even when you worked on yourself, even when you grew stronger and wiser, there remained a lingering thread of uncertainty, not because you wanted them back, but because the energy was unresolved. Unresolved energy always creates stagnation. Your soul has been ready to step into your next chapter, but a piece of your emotional field remained frozen in that moment of betrayal. This is why closure matters not for the relationship itself, but for the release of spiritual weight. This confession, whether whispered, cried, written, or spoken tremblingly, will dissolve that weight. But the dissolution of weight creates space, and space always draws in something new. Once the truth is revealed, the universe will begin moving energy toward you very quickly. Opportunities that were blocked will open. People you are meant to meet will be drawn to you. Relationships aligned with your new vibration will enter with greater clarity and resonance. Your intuition, already awakened, will expand, guiding you more strongly than ever before. You will begin to sense things before they happen, not because you are imagining possibilities, but because your spiritual perception will sharpen. The betrayal that once clouded your judgment will no longer distort your inner vision, and without that distortion, you will see your path with unprecedented clarity. But before you step fully into this next phase, you must understand the shift that will occur in your relationships, all of them, not just the one connected to betrayal. When old pain is released, you attract people from a different frequency. No longer will you draw in those who feed on uncertainty or chaos. No longer will your energy be a magnet for those who are emotionally unstable, inconsistent, or wounded. You are rising into a frequency that resonates with balance, clarity, mutual respect, spiritual maturity, and emotional reciprocity. This is why the universe is orchestrating this moment so carefully. If the truth remained hidden, a residue of old patterns would follow you, even unintentionally, into new connections. But with the truth revealed, that residue will dissolve, and the patterns will break. The next stage of your destiny calls for relationships where growth occurs through love, not pain. Connections where you are mirrored, not drained. Partnerships where you feel safe, not guarded. Friendships where you are understood, not tolerated. This person's return is not about renewing a bond. It is about preparing you for the connections that will define your future. The universe is clearing the emotional debris so that the next chapter of your life can unfold without interference from the past. But there is more. Far more. Your destiny is not limited to healing from a broken connection. You are being prepared for something larger, a calling, an activation, a shift into a higher expression of your purpose. You may have already sensed this calling. Perhaps through a deep restlessness, a feeling that you are meant for more, an urge to change something in your life, a pull toward a spiritual path you once felt but never fully pursued. These sensations are not random, they are signals. Your soul is entering a phase of accelerated evolution. Betrayal opened the door. Truth will push it wide. And once the door is open, your spirit will not return to the smaller version of life you once accepted. What comes next for you may take many forms. For some, it is a rise into leadership, not through hierarchy, but through influence and presence. For others, it is a creative awakening, the emergence of gifts long buried, the expression of talents once ignored. For others still, it is the meeting of a soul partner whose presence feels like recognition, not intensity, peace, not chaos, alignment, not confusion. And for others, it is the strengthening of their spiritual gifts, intuition, empathy, insight, connection to higher guidance. But for you, specifically, the next chapter of your life will carry an element of heightened spiritual awareness. This is why the betrayal was part of your awakening. This is why the truth is part of your release. This is why your soul has been so restless, because you are not meant to remain confined by the limitations of your old identity. But you must be aware of something crucial: not everyone will understand your transformation. Some people in your life may feel threatened by your rising energy. Others may attempt to pull you back into old patterns. Others may sense subconsciously that your frequency is changing and respond with distance, jealousy, or discomfort. This is natural. When a soul rises, not everyone can rise with them. Some connections fade. Some identities dissolve. Some relationships shift into new forms. You are not losing people, you are shedding layers. Every person who leaves your life during this transition is making space for those who can meet you at your new level. And then there is the one who betrayed you. Their role after the truth is spoken will depend entirely on their own readiness. Do not assume they will remain in your life. Do not assume they will disappear. Their future involvement is not a burden you are asked to predict. What matters now is the moment of truth, the moment when your destiny and their karma intersect. After that moment, their path becomes their responsibility, and your path becomes free. Say, "The Lord is my hope forever," if you believe His promises won't fade.